Let's protect America from digital assets and cryptocurrencies. Meanwhile, good morning, everybody. This is not a weekly review because there's only one thing to review. There's only one thing on everybody's mind is what's going to happen with these lawsuits, because the ripple effects are already starting to happen. We see reports coming out from Robinhood and Binance US of delistings and trading pairs not going to happen anymore in the future. We're going to go over those in a little bit, but first let's talk about the lawsuits on Binance and Coinbase. Now, the lawsuits from the SEC on Binance and Coinbase are different. They are targeting different things. Nevertheless, they are going to have ripple effects if you like it or not. But the one against Binance is basically saying that Binance was run through with deception, commingling funds, and very much reminiscent of the way that FTX and SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, this former CEO of FTX, was operating FTX Exchange. And basically what was happening with FTX is that there was funds that were their funds, operating expenses, funds set aside for salaries and rent and so on and so forth, all of their overhead as running this exchange. And then there is the customers' funds, the investments in digital assets, their USD, USDT, stablecoins, and so on and so forth that they were holding. Well, those were all put into one bank account, one pot, and they were doing anything with any funds, leveraging the crypto, taking loans out with crypto, buying endorsements and sponsorship deals, putting names on and naming rights on either teams or leagues or umpires or buildings, buying rental property, buying real estate, and so on and so forth, all with the same pool of money, which is a no-no. Obviously, this is alleged, but regardless, alleged or not, that practice is a no-no. Well, the SEC is claiming that Binance is doing the same thing, saying that this digital asset behemoth moved around customers' funds, the fiat and crypto, as they pleased. And Binance redirected anywhere from $11 to $12 billion to firms controlled by CZ, the CEO. Now, these firms, they say, Merit Peak and Sigma Chain, were controlled by CZ, and they put customers' assets at risk while Binance sought to maximize the profits. Basically, what they're alleging is that CZ was taking these customers' funds, going to different trading platforms or different accounts, and then using those funds to try to double up on their profits, and this has a huge effects on not only the price of assets, but also how Binance was operated and the security of your funds. Your funds were always safe, according to CZ. He's been saying this for years, but it looks as though, allegedly, they could have been always at risk. Well, the SEC is coming in to file an emergency order to freeze Binance US assets. This freeze would impact two holding companies associated with Binance.US operations, BAM Management US Holdings and BAM Trading Services. There has been a rumor on Twitter that there is a Bitcoin holding company that is preparing to go bankrupt. This is only a rumor, but we have no clue who it is. Is it one of these holding companies, or is it something even bigger? This emergency motion to freeze Binance US assets has not been granted yet. However, whether it involves fiat or crypto, the process would involve the transfer of assets back to the United States. Additionally, this motion would say that the SEC doesn't have to serve its papers traditionally like usual. Basically, the whole Shaq debacle, you know, how he's been trying to get sued because of his involvement with as an influencer in crypto and digital assets, and they were trying to serve him with the papers and physically hand them to him, throw them in his car or whatever, and he's been dodging it. Well, he dodged it for quite some time. That would not apply in this case. What they're trying to say is don't have to serve your papers for this to continue. Now, of course, there's some conspiracies within this lawsuit, rightfully so. The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, it has connections everywhere. It seems that in 2019, the chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, offered his services to Binance as an advisor. The allegation is that Gary Gensler had several conversations with Binance executives and CZ himself prior to taking up his post at the SEC. And they also met in Japan for lunch, meaning that he was searching for jobs. Is he going to take the SEC job? Is he going to work at Binance? Is he going to work other places? Remember, Gary Gensler's tone at MIT talking about cryptocurrencies and digital assets is a different tone than after he joined the SEC. Completely 180. The other conspiracy theory skepticism that we see here is the connections that Gary Gensler has. And of course, conspiracy theories and assumptions arise from this. Look, Sam Bankman-Fried was an MIT graduate. So was Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda. And this was, of course, the trading group that was owned by Sam Bankman-Fried, which was part and a sister company of FTX. And so Caroline Ellison, again, the CEO of Alameda Research, which so happened to be dating Sam Bankman-Fried, or having some kind of, 8-way octopus sex with everybody else that was living in the same apartment in the Bahamas, was the daughter of a professor at MIT. Remember, Sam went to MIT. Oh, you know who else worked at MIT as a professor? Gary Gensler. You know who his boss was? Caroline Ellison's dad, Glenn Ellison. All could be coincidence, just saying, we got to put that up there. So is there conflict of interest? Because, remember, Gary was very much pro-crypto at the time that he was teaching at MIT. It wouldn't surprise me if Caroline Ellison and Sam Bankman-Fried both heard speeches that he gave or went to lectures that he's given. Now, I'm not one to jump on the conspiracy theory boat, just to start making assumptions and throwing things out there to say, hey, this is exactly what it is. But there should be an investigation on Gary Gensler. His involvement with different parties and throughout time when it comes to talking about the different digital assets, to saying that they're not securities, to saying that this is a whole new way of finance, and then doing a 180 at the SEC is very strange. But I don't want to just jump into conspiracy theories and that there's collusion or some kind of bad, shadowy stuff. But I think an investigation is due, right? I tweeted the other day in replies to Tim Copeland, who is a journalist in the crypto space. And in a reply to his question, what would they investigate him on? I replied, I want to see if he's acting in good faith. Is he regulating in good faith? From his connections to many people and companies in the space, he seems to have done a 180-degree change in position from his MIT days, and makes me wonder what's up. Is this the bank lobby? Is this government pressure? Is he covering his ass? Or is this genuine? What does covering his ass mean? Well, he has connections with Caroline and Sam Bankman-Fried, both executives at FTX. Maybe he was advising with FTX. We know that FTX has met with the SEC and Gary Gensler many times. Well, FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, they had a lobbying office right in DC. And they've been meeting with not only people on Capitol Hill, but the Biden administration and the SEC many times. Was this a plan made by the SEC to try to bring down crypto? Was that Gary Gensler had some stake in the game? And maybe had some FTT tokens stashed on the side and was going to retire with hundreds of millions of dollars if he just turned a blind eye. Until CZ said he's going to sell all the FTT tokens, blowing the roof off of this big scam that everybody knew was happening, and people were turning a blind eye at the SEC and in the administrations and on Capitol Hill and so on and so forth. And now this is retaliation. Now, of course, again, I'm just saying that this is a conspiracy theories. This is just me going down a rabbit hole that might not even exist. However, you are able to draw these conclusions, and that's why I think that Gary Gensler should be investigated. Not because this is all true, not because that this is fact, but because it is a possibility. And if it is a possibility, then we have to get to the bottom of it. It seems as though every time we start searching for connections of why things are happening in, politics in Washington, D.C., we kind of things start making sense once we find those connections. If it's stock trading, if it's Clarence Thomas, being courted by a billionaire or having a billionaire sugar daddy, or is Joe Manchin making sure that coal stays coal and the businesses keep booming because he's invested and has a big stake in coal in West Virginia, it all starts to make sense once you understand the connections that are there. Legal or illegal, we need to know. Now, Coinbase's lawsuit is a little bit different than Binance's lawsuit. Coinbase is being sued because it's been operating for years as an unlicensed securities exchange and elevated the interest and increased its profits over investors' interests. Basically, the SEC and Gary Gensler is saying that, hey, we approve you to be a company to be a exchange for crypto or digital assets, but not for securities. And they're saying that all of these tokens that are on Coinbase's exchange right now are securities. So therefore, you're not doing exactly what you registered to do. Coinbase is arguing that this is exactly what we registered to do. You knew this, and this is complete BS. Well, the ripple effects of both these lawsuits are already starting to show. Robinhood moves to cut support for Cardano, Polygon, Matic, and Solana. And this is in quick order. I got an email just today, and it said, Support for Matic, Sol, and ADA is ending. Earlier this week, the SEC sued crypto companies Binance, Coinbase, and alleged a number of cryptocurrencies are unregistered securities. This includes Solana, Polygon, Matic, Cardano, which are currently supported by the Robinhood crypto platform. This introduced a cloud of uncertainty around these assets, and as a result, our team has decided to end support for them. What does this mean for you? Well, June 26th, we halt withdrawals of Sol, Matic, and ADA. June 27th, we halt trading of them as well. Any Sol, Matic, and ADA still on your Robinhood crypto account after the deadline will be sold for fair market value. The proceeds will be credited to your Robinhood buying power. So what does this mean? It means they're forcing you to liquidate your crypto on Robinhood, which is horrible. So where are you going to trade these? Binance US has just, and this is all part of it, Binance US has just turned into a crypto-only trading platform, meaning that there's no on-ramps, no off-ramps. You can't put USD in there, you can't withdraw USD, no ACH, no debit, no credit. You only can use stablecoins and crypto. So, besides Coinbase, which is now under a lawsuit for the same thing of selling unregistered securities, where are you going to trade these? Now, here's a disservice of the American people. We can't use Binance.com, we can't use KuCoin, Huobi, Gate, or wherever to sell these cryptocurrencies, to hodl these, to trade them. So if we liquidate them, because it might be the only option we have left right now, we could be liquidating them at a loss. Basically, they're pushing us into a corner, making sure that there's no other option as an American citizen, and now we might be selling at a loss to get out with whatever we have. What liability does the SEC or the government have? Is it our fault that these were offered on exchanges? Is it our fault that there's no clarity and regulations on these exchanges or these companies that are offering these products? Now, us, the American citizen, are left holding the bag? Wait, there's more. Like I said, Binance.us is halting anything to do with the US dollar. They said, as you may be aware, Binance US, alongside other companies in our industry, have become a target of massive aggressive tactics by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC brought unjustified civil claims against our business, from which we will continue to vigorously defend ourselves, our customers, and our partners in the industry. However, ACH withdrawals are done, and that's going to be by June 13th. We're talking about today's the 9th. 4 days from now, they're cutting it all off. They continue to say, to ensure a timely USD withdrawal process, we are suspending USD deposits, and that's today, the 9th, and reoccurring buy orders at the beginning of the transition to crypto-only exchange. Any deposits already initiated will be processed. Cryptocurrency services will remain fully operational, including crypto trading, staking deposits, and withdrawals. So what does this mean? It means that we're being pushed all toward Coinbase, which is fine, but they're under the same scrutiny. There's coins that I have. I actually, to be honest with you, I just sold my Matic and I took a $600 loss on it because I had no clue what to do. I tried to withdraw my Matic from Robinhood and they wanted me to validate my ID, which I think is a huge infringement. They already have my information. I'm already registered. I'm already trading. They already have my bank information. Now I have to upload my ID again, or I couldn't get my crypto out. And you know what happened? The website crashed. I did it 4 times this morning and it wouldn't let me upload my ID. So instead of dealing with that and trying to send it to Coinbase, to hodl, to hope for the future, I sold it for a $600 loss. Will I get reimbursed for it? Probably not. Is there any class actions that are going to win in courts? Probably not. But this is what they're doing. And now we're going to be pushed to Coinbase in a last-ditch effort to continue to support the space, and maybe we have quite substantial funds in there, and hodl and hope for the best. And what if the same thing happens with Coinbase? Coinbase, please don't capitulate. Please continue doing what you do until they come in there with the armed guards, the National Guard, the United States Army to shut you down. Do not capitulate. That's what's happening in the world of crypto and Web3 this week. There's nothing else to talk about. But make sure that if you are in the United States and you are a U.S. citizen, make sure you're making a stink. Make sure you're raising some hell. Make sure you're calling your congressmen, your senators, your representatives, your governors, and so on and so forth. Everybody's distancing themselves from crypto and digital assets. And to be honest with you, it's the average people, the you, me, the moms, the pops, the people that put a couple $1,000 in there that are going to be holding the bag. And nobody's going to come bail you out. And they're all going to be laughing their way to the bank. And until next time, happy hodling, everyone.